Hey YouTube, and thank you for watching Junkworks DIY Garage. Well, I am here and we're going to be working on this. And by this, I'm not talking about the cupboard here. I'm talking about what's behind the door. Number one is this EcoSmart tankless hot water heater. Now, I did a video on this already. I did a complete install from hooking all this up to the power, clear out, doing the what's inside the breaker box, as well as all the plumbing and everything. I did a really complete video of this. So if you want to go check that out, I have some long versions that have a lot of information and a couple, I think a short version that kind of blows through everything for those of you that just want the basics. But regardless, please go check out those videos if you have any questions on this particular unit. As well as for those of you that during those videos told me I did it wrong and it wasn't going to pass and it was going to explode and I don't know what else people said, but this in my area has passed all the codes it needs to pass. Everything is totally working fine. We've been using it for quite a while now, which brings us to this video, cleaning out the elements here. Now, this is one of those things where I've just done my own homework on it. You need to do yours as well. Don't take what I'm saying here as gospel, but this seems like the, I guess, easiest way to do what I need to do. And then based on what I see inside, depends on whether we'll go further and use these right here. I did put these in based on some videos I watched, but I have since watched some different videos and read some articles that basically seems like you just need to take the elements out of here and clean them. So that is my first step I'm going to do for today and in this video. Next, we need to take the panel off, and in that video I explained this, but I'll explain this because I'm sure I'm going to get some questions on this about why I put it here and all that. Basically, it is a very small apartment. This was the only place that would really work. There was no place inside the bathroom because it was too small to really put this and make it functionable. And really, this is a wasted cupboard. You have to reach in from this side or over the counter from the other side. So she can put a few things in here, and it's, you know, otherwise this space would have been pretty well unused anyway. So that's why we decided to do that. Now the other thing, to get the plumbing in where I needed it, to get it up where I needed it, I also put it quite a ways towards the top of this cupboard. So there is a hole that I had cut in the top for an access panel. So if you choose to do this type of idea, you will, I believe I mentioned this in the video as well, but you will have to cut an access panel. Yet again, you need to do your own research. I am fine with the way this is. If anybody has a problem with it, so be it. Don't do it this way. But now let's get to the video and actually clean these out, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. And the first thing we're going to do is go inside of our panel here and shut off all the breakers to the hot water heater. Now to take the cover off, we're up on top here. We've got the hole. There is a screw there and a screw there we need to pull out, as well as down underneath here there's a screw right there and another one right there. Got to pull all four of those out. I believe that's all there is. That should take the cover off. And I'm not sure, this knob might need to come off too. I can tell we have no power, first of all, because there are no numbers here. I push on that, the numbers don't come on. I turn it, the numbers don't come on. So I know I've shut all the power off to this now. So I'm going to kind of reiterate everything I've done so far. First of all, I shut the power off to the unit. All of the power back at the box, at the breaker box, breaker panel, sub panel, whatever you want to call it. Turned all the power off to this unit. Then I turn off the water, cold water going in, turned on the hot water, and right now it is draining out of the bath some. I don't know if that's coming out of here or residual that's just in the pipes. We're going to go with it for now, because I think when I open that up with that bathroom tub opened up, that once air is allowed in, it'll probably let this drain pretty good. Regardless, that's what I'm going with for now. If that doesn't work, I'll probably drain it out of here. Anyway, so power off, water off, draining it out best I can. Then we're taking the 4 screws off the cover. Then we're taking the cover off. Oh. And like I said before, but didn't do, you're going to want to pop the little cap off. So that brings us up here. These tubes fill with water. One of these elements heats all the time. If the water starts cooling off or going down in a temperature, another one kicks on. If more is needed, then another one kicks on. That is kind of, at least from my research, how these work. Here's the top of it right here. There is actually screws holding these wires on. So we got to unscrew those, pull the wires off. Now, if you're using a screw gun like I am, be very careful, have good control over it. I would highly recommend probably not doing this, but I don't want to go find a screwdriver. I just want them loose for now. Alright, I'm just going to take the tip out. I'm going to undo the rest of the way by hand here. Now, make sure you have pictures or mark these or whatever to which one they go to. I will say that they are obvious which ones these go to because they go shorter to longer. These ones here should go from wherever their sensor is up to it, so it should be fairly obvious, but if you have problems with that kind of stuff, make sure you're marking things. I'm also going to put these screws right back in the same holes they came out of. So up here on the top, I am putting them in a certain order so I know where they came out of. That is just one of my things that I do as much as I possibly can, is try and get hardware, whatever it is, back into the same hole, just in case something is just a little bit off about those threads. You never know what the last guy did to put them in. Now I'm going to put these over to the side. I'm going to put them back here. Bend these out of the way a little bit here. Be careful, don't bend too much. And then I don't know what size this is, but whatever size it is big. So I found this here, one of my grandfather's old pipe wrenches. Now, I don't think about pipe wrenches. They go up to all kinds of sizes, and these ones are fairly small and get fairly large. So I think this will work good. The neat thing about this one is it actually has flat jaws instead of teeth on them. So therefore, they don't mar things up quite as bad. I'm not super worried about that personally, but if you are. Alright, so we are going to righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, I hope. I don't know how tight this is, so I'm going to try and be careful. Oh, it felt pretty tight. It's still a little bit warm, so be careful. Give it water. Still here. And I would highly recommend not putting a wrench on this part here. It's just plastic. Once you get it loose, you might be able to use it for a little bit of leverage, but I would say probably wouldn't. Okay, yeah, I can hear the water dumping out of the bathtub now. So I think my idea of draining this out that way is working pretty good. I'm going to let that drain for a while. I'm going to go along and I'm going to pull all these out. Here, I'll pull this one out all the way. And again, we're going to have to come out through the top. That really does not look bad at all, so I don't know if this is one that hasn't been used very much. So that didn't look that bad. Now, yet again, I had some comments on needing the water filter or not. I put a water filter in this thing before this system. I've actually changed it out a couple times since, and I have seen some really ugly ones coming out of here. Now, this could just be one that's not used as much, but I think that is the main one. So I'm going to pull the rest of these out. You don't need to watch me do the same thing over and over. Hopefully nothing breaks or gets screwed up, and all will go well. Well, this is the first one. This is the one that I took out in camera. This is the middle one here, and this is the one that's closest to your knob that turns on and off. Now, I'm not going to lie, I hurt my thumb trying to pull these things out. They are in there pretty tight, and it's kind of nerve-wracking. So this is one of those places where I definitely say, if you do anything I do, you hurt yourself or your equipment, I am not responsible. If you're not comfortable doing this, call a plumber and let him break it. But it is all intact, everything's fine. It definitely, you could see this thing kind of moving on the panel. I was afraid it was going to pull loose from the panel. It was nerve-wracking. I'm gonna just right out say it. It was a bit nerve-wracking, but you know, I don't know what a plumber would cost to come in and do this. And quite honestly, I'm definitely gonna wait a lot longer before I ever do this again. I am seriously thinking about just putting those things back in and calling it a day, but since I have them out, I am gonna go ahead and do a little bit of a cleaning on them. I'm not gonna soak them, I don't think. But I'll show you what my plan was to clean these up since I got them out anyway. And my plan was to take a bucket, put some distilled white vinegar in it. I'm going to put some in this little bowl here right now. And then I was going to pretend this is the bucket filled with vinegar, stick those in the bucket, let them sit for a while, and clean up. But quite honestly, these do not need that. I don't even know as what I'm doing is really necessary, but we're going to do it anyway. I got a little bowl over here that I put some of that vinegar in, and I am just going to take a toothbrush and go over this whole thing with some distilled white vinegar, just to get what little bit of schmutz I can off of here. That's not going to get inside here very well. Oh, there we go. Be careful, yet again, not responsible if you do something I do and you break something. But then I'm going to go ahead and do around here, because this part definitely has a little bit of something in here, whether it's corrosion or what. Probably be careful. There is a rubber or a O-ring gasket here, so probably be careful with that. I'm gonna, when I'm all done, we are gonna rinse this off good with some fresh water here. And set that aside to dry. Now I'm going to actually, I was thinking about changing these around. I'm going to put them back in their exact same spots. So now, just a matter of putting everything back in. Now, I don't know what the torque spec is on this. I'm going to try not to put it in as tight as it was already. O-rings usually don't have to be reefed on, so I'm going to just do it one at a time because I do think it's easier to get the wrench in places. And quite honestly, I think about all you're going to see is my butt, because I have to stand on the counter to get to where I want to be here. Boy, that didn't go very far. I haven't put anything else back together. I'm going to turn this on slowly. I have the all the water off now to the tub, so it should all be sealed for now. And I'm going to run the water and look for leaks first. That is nerve-wracking. Just going to have it fill up slowly. That sounds like it's full pressure. And I'm going to let that sit there for a little while and see if I see anything I don't like. I've been letting this sit for a good few minutes. I went and got a proper screwdriver here, and I am going to start hooking this booby back up. Yet again, there's probably proper torque specs for this, and you need to figure that out for yourself. So we got the water on here, we got the water going now here, which this I just left on the whole time. No leaks. I'm going to go ahead and take all this away. And before I turn anything on as far as power, we need to run water through all the different hot water systems. You want to make sure before you turn power onto this that there is plenty of water in here and no air bubbles. So one at a time, I'm going to go to all the hot water spigots that come from out of here, and I'm going to start turning them on and make sure there's no air bubbles as I go. And here we go, off 122 degrees. You put it and set it where you want to put it. Nothing appears to be leaking. I ran all the air out of the system before I turned it on. Everything should be hunky-dory. Well, thanks for watching Junkworks DIY Garage, where I'm proud to say I'm a jack of all and master of none. You all have a good one.